I'm Tracy, and this is Yoga for Everybody. Today we're going to work through the basics of downward dog. So we're just going to get started. To start into a downward dog, it's easiest to get into it from a hand and knee position. We kind of call that tabletop position. You really just want to start with your hands spread as wide as you can on the mat. You want to get a really firm foundation with that. So I really try to spread the webs of my fingers, try to point my thumbs towards each other, and then really work down through this forefinger knuckle. That gives you a strong, firm base with your hands. Then you just tuck your toes under and lift your hips up. When you get to this position, most people have pretty tight calves and Achilles, maybe even the soles of the feet. So you can do what's pedaling through the feet, or what we call walking the dog, kind of just dropping one knee in as you push back through the opposite heel. Just kind of slowly loosens up some of those tight muscles. And as you're doing that, you're just slowly sliding the chest back towards the thighs. You can even get a little bit more dynamically into it by dropping the knees a little bit deeper, getting into what I call the necks of the toes. Kind of helps open up the feet, and then lifting the hips and dropping through the heels. If that feels good, you can take it even a little bit deeper, dropping those knees almost to the mat, taking your tailbone back. We call this puppy pose, and then lifting the knees, hips, dropping the heels. So once you feel like those calves and Achilles have started to open up, you go back to your hands. Make sure that they're nice and strongly, firmly on the floor. Going to nice, strong elbows, up to shoulders. We don't want those shoulders curled up towards your ears. We do what's called an external rotation. So we just take those shoulders and roll them to the outside of your mat. Chest slides back towards your thighs, lifting up the hips and sliding the heels towards the floor. Usually in a downward dog, most people want to get those heels into the floor. Oh, well, some people can, some people can't. Mine are just not quite touching. Most people think that that's the biggest goal in a downward dog, is to get those heels touching. Not necessarily. What we really want is that good, strong stretch through the back of the legs. Some people actually will step in to get those heels down, but you're kind of defeating the purpose because you're not getting that great stretch to the back of the legs. So I've been asked, Tracy, how do I know where my hands and my feet go? Good question. I was told one time, and I think this is a great indicator on where hands and feet should be. When you're in a downward dog, you can just slide forward to a plank. And if your shoulders are right over your wrists, that's a good place to be, lifting the hips back up and dropping into those heels. And again, my heels are not touching the ground. It'd be great if they were, but they're not. This is also a great place to be if you're working through some flowing motion, because you can come to plank. You're already in that position to start for your chaturanga. Downward dog. So there's a lot of dynamic things you can do in downward dog. For beginners, if you're having some wrists or hand problems, downward dog can be a little stressful for them. So you can use blocks or some books or something to help you out. You're just going to take the base of your hand on the edge of those blocks or books that you have, and then go into your downward dog. It just takes some of the stress off your wrists and hands. And you can rest a little bit more comfortably in your downward dog until you get the strength in those wrists and hands. And when you're ready, you can just take it to a child's pose, resting there as long as you'd like. So those are the basics of downward dog. I hope you try it at home. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time.